Anxiety is not a flaw. It is not a sign of failure. It is not weakness. It is a signal, a call from within, a whisper that says you are alive. You are thinking. You are feeling. Albert Einstein once said, "The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." If you feel anxiety, it means you are engaged with the world. It means your mind is active. It means you care, you worry, because something matters to you. And that is not weakness. That is depth. Einstein was not a man without fear. He was not a man without self-doubt. He was born in Germany in 1879, and from a young age, he questioned everything: the world, authority, even himself. He did not speak fluently until he was nearly 9 years old. Some of his teachers called him slow. Others thought he might never amount to anything. But inside that quiet boy was a mind burning with questions, and with questions comes uncertainty. With uncertainty comes anxiety. Einstein once said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." He understood that anxiety was not the enemy of progress. It was part of it. You don't get to greatness by avoiding fear. You get there by facing it. You build resilience by walking into the storm, not waiting for the storm to pass. So if you feel anxious, don't shrink away from it. Stand in it. Learn from it. Let it shape you into someone stronger, someone wiser. Anxiety is not a blockade. It is a bridge. It connects you to your values, your purpose, your potential. Einstein's breakthroughs came from confronting uncertainty. The theory of relativity was not born from comfort. It was born from restlessness, from a refusal to accept easy answers, from a willingness to dwell in doubt. He once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing." He saw that discomfort was the birthplace of genius. So why do we treat anxiety as weakness when it can be a sign of growth? You are not broken. You are not fragile. You are not falling behind. You are waking up, and when you wake up, the world gets louder. You begin to notice what others ignore. You begin to think deeply, feel deeply, care deeply. That can hurt, but it can also heal. You are not weak for feeling too much. You are human, and to be human is to wrestle with the mind. It is to live in paradox, to seek peace and yet stir with worry, to crave rest and yet carry fire. You are not a mistake. You are a masterpiece in progress. Einstein was never ashamed of his inner struggles. He embraced solitude. He embraced thinking. He embraced the uncomfortable. He once said, "I live in that solitude which is painful in youth, but delicious in the years of maturity." He knew what it meant to feel apart from the crowd. He knew the power of sitting with one's thoughts, even when those thoughts were hard to bear. You are not alone in your anxiety. You walk a path traveled by minds that changed the world. And what they knew, what Einstein knew, is that strength is not loud. It is not always visible. It is not the absence of anxiety. True strength is feeling the fear and choosing to move forward anyway. Anxiety often tells us stories. Stories of failure, stories of rejection, stories that say you are not enough. But Einstein teaches us that we don't have to believe every story our mind tells us. He once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world." What if your anxiety is not a sign of limitation, but a doorway into imagination? What if your anxious thoughts are not evidence of weakness, but proof of a powerful mind trying to make sense of a chaotic world? Einstein believed in the power of thought, but more importantly, he believed in thinking differently, thinking beyond fear, beyond rules, beyond what the world expects. He believed in challenging assumptions, including the ones we make about ourselves. When you feel anxious, your brain is trying to protect you. It is scanning for danger, trying to keep you safe. But in a world where we are not chased by lions but by deadlines, expectations and perfectionism, that protection can turn into pressure. It can make you feel trapped. But you are not trapped. You are not stuck. You are evolving. You are growing through something your ancestors could not imagine. You are navigating a world more connected, more demanding, more uncertain than ever before. And still, you rise. Still. You try still, you show up. That is not weakness. That is greatness forming in real time. Einstein once said, "In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity." It sounds simple, but it is a profound truth. Within every anxious thought, there is a chance to understand yourself better, to question what you value, to challenge what you've accepted, to rise above what you thought would break you. When you sit with anxiety, and you do not run from it, you begin to hear what it is really saying. It is not always warning you of danger. Sometimes it is reminding you of your desire for connection, for meaning, for peace. And those are not signs of weakness. They are signs of life. Do not shame yourself for feeling too much. The people who change the world are often the ones who feel the world most deeply. Einstein felt the suffering of others profoundly. He was not just a scientist, he was a humanist, a man who stood against war, against oppression, against injustice. His anxiety made him more aware, more compassionate, more committed to a better future. And you can be too. Your pain is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your strength. Your anxiety does not mean you are broken. It means you are awake. You are in tune with a world that desperately needs more people who care, more people who ask questions, more people who feel the weight of injustice, and who use that weight to move mountains. Anxiety does not destroy your potential. It reveals it. Because when you feel deeply, you connect deeply. And when you connect deeply, you can lead, create, heal, and inspire in ways no one else can. Einstein never ran from questions. He ran toward them, even the uncomfortable ones, especially the ones that challenged him. He saw beauty in mystery. He embraced not knowing. He said, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science. So when you are overwhelmed by uncertainty, remember this: the unknown is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher." Let your anxiety become a source of awareness, not avoidance. Let it teach you patience. Let it teach you stillness. Let it teach you what matters. You do not need to be fearless to be free. You need to be honest. Honest about what you feel. Honest about what you fear. Honest about who you are. And who you are is not weak. You are a storm. You are a spark. You are a question mark at the end of every easy answer. And that makes you powerful. Anxiety is not a wall between you and your dreams. It is the path through which you earn them. Every step you take while anxious is a victory. Every breath you take when your chest feels tight is a reminder you are alive. You are trying, you are growing. Einstein would tell you this: there is no shame in being sensitive. There is no shame in thinking too much, or caring too much, or feeling out of place. In fact, those are often the very signs that you are meant to create change. You are not here to blend in. You are here to think differently, to live deeply, to lead with heart. Let your anxiety become your compass, not your cage. Let it point you toward what matters, not hold you back from it. There will be days when your mind feels like a battlefield. On those days, remember this: even the brightest minds have faced darkness. Even the most visionary thinkers have questioned their place in the world. You are not alone in your struggle. You are part of a legacy of minds who refuse to let fear define their future. You are not weak. You are learning to carry your power differently. You are learning to breathe through chaos, to think through fear, to stand in the storm and say, "I will not give up." Not today, not ever. Anxiety is not the absence of strength. It is the presence of awareness. The world often teaches us to hide what we feel, to suppress, to smile, to pretend. But pretending does not heal. Pretending does not empower. Pretending only delays the truth, that eventually rises like a tide that we are complex, layered and beautifully unfinished. Albert Einstein knew this. He lived in a world that demanded conformity, yet he walked his own path. He refused to follow rules blindly. He saw how society tried to mold people into shapes that were easier to manage, easier to define. But the universe, he knew, did not operate in straight lines. It moved in curves, in chaos, in mystery, and so do we. Anxiety reminds us of this mystery. It reminds us that we are not robots. We are not meant to live on autopilot. We are meant to feel, to think, to evolve. And evolution, by its nature, is uncomfortable. Einstein once wrote, "The monotony of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." In other words, when the noise settles, the truth rises. But for many of us, the quiet reveals our anxiety, and that's where the misunderstanding begins. We mistake the surfacing of anxiety as a sign that something is wrong with us. But what if it is exactly the opposite? What if anxiety is not the beginning of our breakdown, but the start of our breakthrough? You do not have to run from what you feel. You can sit with it. You can understand it. And in understanding it, you can transform it. Transformation is never clean. It is messy. It is uncertain. And anxiety is often the price of stepping into that uncertainty. But every great mind, every visionary, every revolutionary has had to walk through that fire. Einstein faced it when he left Germany, fleeing the rise of the Nazis. He faced it when he questioned Newtonian physics and presented a theory the world wasn't ready for. He faced it when his work was misused to build weapons instead of understanding. And yet he did not stop thinking. He did not stop feeling. He did not stop dreaming. You too are allowed to dream even with anxiety, especially with anxiety, because dreams born from struggle are often the ones that carry the deepest meaning. They are dreams forged in fire, not comfort. Dreams that do not whisper, they roar. And your anxiety is not here to silence you. It is here to awaken you. Awaken you to what matters. Awaken you to what hurts. Awaken you to what must change. Do not envy the ones who feel nothing. Their path may be easier, but it is not deeper. You were not built for easy. You were built for meaningful. And meaningful is never simple. The journey of a meaningful life is marked by questions, doubts, setbacks, and yes, anxiety. But it is also marked by discovery, resilience, connection, and growth. The same mind that worries deeply also loves deeply, creates deeply, lives deeply. There is nothing shallow about you. You are not here to glide over the surface. You are here to dive deep. Einstein's work changed the way we understand the universe, but his courage changed the way we understand what it means to be human. He was not fearless. He was not perfect. He was not without anxiety. He was simply willing to keep going, and so are you. Anxiety is not the full story. It is a chapter, and you are still writing. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness that notices it. You are the strength that survives it. You are the voice that speaks through it. You are not defined by the storm. You are defined by how you stand in it. Albert Einstein once said, "Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving." And that's the truth anxiety tries to hide from you. It whispers that you're stuck. It screams that you've failed. But still, you move. Still, you show up. Still, you try to balance a world that spins faster each day. Still, you carry on quietly, courageously, with the weight of thoughts no one else can see. That is not weakness. That is perseverance. There is no medal for surviving what no one else knows you're going through. But there is power, and there is transformation. Each time you choose to breathe instead of break, each time you choose to stay instead of escape, each time you rise when your mind says stay down, you prove that anxiety does not own you. You own your story. Einstein's legacy wasn't just in equations or theories. It was in how he refused to be shaped by fear. He lived as a thinker, yes, but also as a questioner, a rebel, a human who understood that complexity is not a flaw, it is the source of our light. You are not on this path alone. Every step you take with anxiety beside you is a testament to your resilience. Every tear you hide, every breath you reclaim, every panic you turn into peace, it all matters. Not because it's loud, but because it's real. So let the world misunderstand you. Let them call your sensitivity a weakness. Let them say you feel too much, think too much, question too much, and then, quietly, courageously prove them wrong, not by pretending, not by hiding, but by showing that real strength is carrying what others cannot see, and still finding your way forward. You are not broken. You are breaking through. You are not weak. You are wired to feel, to reflect, to awaken. And in that awakening, you become something unstoppable, not in spite of your anxiety, but because you dared to walk with it, because you dared to stay soft in a hard world, because you dared to ask the deeper questions, because you dared to become the kind of person who doesn't just survive but transforms. So let this be your reminder. You don't need to be fearless to be free. You don't need to be perfect to have purpose. You don't need to silence your anxiety to hear your strength. You only need to listen, to trust, to take one step, one breath, one truth, and keep moving. Because in the end, as Einstein showed us, the greatest minds are not those who had all the answers, but those who never stopped asking the right questions. And maybe the most powerful question you can ask today is this: what if my anxiety is not the end of my story, but the beginning of my greatness?